Here we go. Dear Zoom, please be nice today. Please be nice today. That's what I always say whenever we actually do roaming arounds on it. All right, so welcome to Roaming Around, ladies and gentlemen. You already got the gist of what it is. I have a wonderful, wonderful guest with me today. He is a graphic designer, a self made person who actually has his own business. Thank God. That's highly influential. He's somebody that is a straight up sweetheart, and I would love to feature a certain somebody else that we shall be talking about later on. He is proudly a part of the LGBTQ community. And with that said, welcome to Roaming Around Black Lions Domain, Mr. Adam Podsednik. How are you doing? Well,
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
all right, so I've actually known you for about a few months now. I believe Blair Hayes introduced us some point. Uh, I think like maybe summer or fallish, somewhere between there. Don't quote me, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. I know we met somewhere around that time frame. All right, so we've been talking, and we both believe in the universal laws that govern this entire universe. So for some odd reason, whenever we tried to do roaming around together, we couldn't just get aligned. But thank goodness for today, we actually are aligned. So it's the perfect time, especially for a certain piece of business that he would like to promote, I'm sure, at the end of this thing.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I've actually watched plenty of interviews and I actually have enough to actually keep him occupied. So, with that said, Adam, please give my listeners a little bit of your background.
Okay. Do you want the long story or the short? How much time do we have?
We got as much time as you need, hon.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, well, I won't go. Well, my mother had me when she was 15 years old, and my father passed away when he was 20 and I was 3. So my mother was 17 and she couldn't take care of me the way that she wanted to. So I grew up with my great grandparents. And as a young child, I was in a very more strict household. I was in a Catholic household, but I knew that I was gay, and I was completely in the closet. I was afraid to be myself. But one thing that brought me joy always was art. I would sit in, back in the day when we were kids, I'm going to age myself right now. We didn't have iPads. We didn't have iPhones. We didn't even have the internet. So I had my imagination. So I would sit in front of the television while she would watch her soap operas, and I would just draw and draw and draw. And it brought me so much joy. I was a little bit of a loner as a adolescent. And then growing up, I attended Catholic school my whole life, so I was still kind of stuck in the closet, not being able to be who I really was, but I expressed myself through my art. But because growing up with my great grandparents, they were born in the 20s, they would always tell me, "You're very good at art. It's amazing, but that's not going to pay the bills." So I felt defeated for a while. So I got into sports. I was a baseball player. I got a scholarship to a college. I went to college for business because my grandparents thought that was the best thing to do. I grew up in California. And then finally, I was so torn because of my Catholic upbringing and who I really was as an individual, that I decided to go to school out of state. I let my scholarship go because I felt like I had to choose between my faith and my sexuality.
No.
And at that time, I thought, hey, I'm going to just go to Arizona. I'm going to stay away. I can do what I want. I can express who I really am inside, and my family won't know about it. But I kind of had to disconnect with God and with the universe, and I felt lost just as much as I did when I was in the closet. So it wasn't really helping in any way. But I fell into fashion, actually. I got a job as in retail. I was a salesperson. I was the number one salesperson for a women's clothing company, and then moved to Los Angeles and started working with the merchants and the visual team, and then started assisting styling for television shows like True Blood and Pretty Little Liars and American Idol. And I just loved it because clothes and fashion is my passion as well. And in around 2012, I went to Japan for work, and it was amazing. I love traveling, and I had met Val in 2007. So we were together 5 years, and I went the first time I'd ever been apart from him for that long. I was in Japan for 9 days, and I came back, and I was so elated. I was so excited, and I had all these like beautiful fashion things were in my life, and I just was so excited. And the next week, my job let me go.
Oh God.
They fired my butt out of nowhere because I guess I was just being paid a little bit too much, and they thought they could find someone who would do the same work as me for less money. And, you know, I look back at it now because of the strength of my partner, Val, I got through that. And I look back at it now and say, that was a blessing in disguise. You know, like Gabby always says, when you get fired, good for you. That's the universe saying that you have another opportunity coming. But at that time, I didn't know that. And I got so depressed, I dwindled into that dark place. I started drinking every day. A month later, we got a phone call that Val's mother committed suicide, and we were in California, and we just felt, we hit rock bottom together. And we got up. I was afraid to like leave the house almost. It was so devastating that we moved to Florida because Val has a child, and we wanted to be closer to them. But I was in this dark, dark place, and I'd never regained my faith. I had never, even though my Catholic upbringing, my grandma's right there. That was her senior picture. That's my great grandma. She passed away when I was 27. So I have a house in California. I had to be an adult. I had to do things that 27-year-olds aren't really supposed to. You don't really think about burying your parents, but I had already buried like 3. So we were in Florida, just really dark, dark place. And Val had been working in Los Angeles before we moved to Florida. He was working for a blog called Life by Me, and he had interviewed a lot of celebrities and big names, and he was also an acting teacher and coach. So he had stumbled across Gabby Bernstein, and he's like, read this book, Adam. And I was like, I'm not ready. And he probably was on this. Yeah, I'm like, I just want to drink. I just want to like escape. I'm not ready. I don't feel like it. And he started his journey a little bit before me, which is really great because he has been a teacher and a mentor of mine, and I get to live with him. So it's amazing. He's paved the way, and he's a great, great man. But around 2014, I picked up May Cause Miracles, and it transformed my life in a way that I knew that there was something better than me just feeling bad about all the circumstances that I was going through. And I really wanted to pick myself up, but it was a lot of like I would have a good week and then I'd fall into that depression again. So in 2017, Val said, we're going to Spirit Junkie Masterclass Level 1 in New York. We're going to go see Gabby live. And I'm like, okay, I'll be there to support you, but I don't think it's for me. The day we get there, there's 300 people in the audience. We're front row. Gabby looks at me and says, get up here. Born This Way, Lady Gaga was on. We danced. It was life-changing, and that was probably the day that I realized I could be gay and spiritual all at once. And I thought to myself, I don't want our younger generation, no matter if it's color, your race, economic background, your sexual orientation, I don't want you ever to feel like you don't have God on your side. You don't have spirituality on your side. You can be who you want and still be a spiritual being and change the world. So we went to level 2 after that. And again, in 2018, we went back to level 1, a Spirit Junkie Masterclass, and I danced on stage again with her because it happens every year now. And we were a part of her team, and Gabby's really been, her and Val have been like my mentors and my coaches. And, you know, we still talk to Gabby once a month. And she really changed my mindset. I think I always had it in me, and I always had like someone to support me with Val. Like, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have him in my life at that time. Like, we really did help each other out, but if I wouldn't have had him, I don't even know where I would be. But she gave me my aha moment, and I was like, yes, I can start my own business. I believe in myself. Artists do make money. Never give up on your dreams. I can be a spiritual healer. I can be a coach and change lives. I believe in myself. I hit rock bottom, and I can take you from rock bottom up because I've been there. So that's I guess my story so far, but I don't call it, like a lot of people say it's a spiritual journey, and I don't use the word journey. I say it's my spiritual adventure, and I'm still having a great adventure, and sky's the limit, and it's just getting better and better.
Oh man. And if you did not say the last name, I was gonna chime in and say he's talking about one Gabby Bernstein, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Gabby Bernstein.
Actual author and motivational speaker. I love her. I love her to death. I never talked to Gabby, but I'm making it a mission of mine to actually talk to her one day.
Manifest that. You need to write that down because it will manifest, and you will get her on your show. I'm sure of it.
I will get Gabby Bernstein on here.
You have such a good energy.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Gabby's, I gotta believe, like almost a year now. I remember at some point there was a event by Hay House. You Can Heal Your Life 2020, and she was one of the speakers. I said, this chick rocks. I love her. I gotta talk to her eventually. And I
yes.
So
she's so relatable because she's like me in a female form. Like she wears her leather jackets, she's trendy and cool. She'll be teaching and channeling, and she'll just cuss out of nowhere, and that's okay with me because it catches my attention. I'm like, you just dropped the F word, and that's awesome because I do that once in a while too. Like you're just she's so relatable, and her and Val and a few other mentors and teachers like Marianne Williamson. I got to meet her in LA at a party. Yes, because Val worked for the blog, they would have big parties. So like we went to a party once, Marianne Williamson was there, Jason Mraz was there. I met them all, but I wasn't ready for my adventure yet, so it didn't sink in. And if I just would, like now, that's one thing I regret. I'm like, I should have cornered Marianne Williamson and sat and talked to her way longer. But you live and you learn, everything happens for a reason. And, but her books have really changed my life. Marianne Williamson, Gabby Bernstein. I just dove into self-help in 2017. I got sober, and I picked my life up, and I now have 3 businesses, and I'm just living this amazing life.
And I'm happy for you, pal, because you actually have influenced somebody that I hold near and dear very to me. Speaking of that person, their name is Blair Hayes.
Yes, Blair.
And as I said earlier, we've been introduced by her. So how did you come across dear old Blair?
Well, actually, I was her coach. So I am not only an artist, but I'm a confidence and creativity coach and also a life coach. And Val and I do coaching together as well. So Blair joined. I've known Blair. She interviewed me for a magazine that she had about my art, I think last year or the year before. And we've stayed in touch here and there. And she joined 1 or 2 of our small little courses that we did earlier in the year. And then she messaged me and she's like, I want you to be my coach. So I coached her for the last 6 months, and Val coached her as well a little bit too, because he's more like life coach business, and I was the creativity and confidence coach. And yeah, she's an amazing, amazing human. She is the best manifester. If you want Gabby Bernstein on your show, you need to tell Blair, because she can make that stuff happen. She just writes it down and things happen for her. She is a great manifester. Like I call her the manifesting queen.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Without Blair Hayes, and I've said this multiple times before now, that it's almost been 6 months since I met her, and the biggest things of my life manifested just like that.
Yep.
And she came on roaming around, it was like wildfire. I actually kept my word to her that I would buy Step Into Your Magic. And then not even 5 days later, I actually signed up for becoming They Are Magic. I did not know this, but I was the very first person on the list. I said,
I knew this because I was coaching her at the time. We were talking about They Are Magic because I'm like, we need inclusivity. I want men's stories. Men are magic as well. And you were the first one. And that, I think, is when I'm like, I need to meet this man. because he stepped it up. Not even like
Oh,
one day it was announced and you were already on board. And I'm like, I need to meet the first man ever to be in the Magic book. I need to meet this man.
oh,
And then,
man.
universe didn't work out in our favor with the whole podcast thing because we had days that didn't work. But I think divine timing, everything happens for a reason. I think right now is the perfect time.
Oh, yes, it is. And I couldn't have
Yeah.
asked for a better time to talk to you, especially with They Are Magic actually going into production.
I know. I'm
And
so excited for you.
oh, man. My story is so long in forthcoming. I tried to write that doggone thing for months on end. And for some odd reason, it would just and I would say,
Really?
oh no, I gotta try and wrap this up. I gotta try and wrap it up. So to give a brief Clip Notes version of it. So Blair came into my life, so supposedly I think in July. And then we started talking, and then all of a sudden she heard about me wanting to be an author. And then she actually said on Roaming Around, oh, I would like to actually feature you. I said, oh wow, really? And she said yes. And then
Yeah.
we talked about it more so in private, and she really meant every single word. And I made the decision on the 25th of September to really go along with it because I had a vibe about her. There was something in the air. I could not really fathom it or really put my finger on it, but there was a serious empathy and spiritual connection. For some odd reason, people can actually possibly testify to this. I don't usually say my show's catchphrase quite so much, but for some odd reason, when Blair came on, blurted out, and then ever since then, it was like wildfire. Every single
Yeah.
episode. Welcome to the multi-dimensional realm that discusses blah, 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 blah. And I'm actually happy and grateful that she came on because I know that Blair rarely does podcasts, just
Yeah.
like you do. So,
Yeah, we've talked about that, Blair and I. We don't do many. We I think
but
it's like my fourth, and she does like, yeah, she's very picky. I'm very picky as well, but we both had energy. I think all three of us come from very, very different backgrounds, but there is a sense of spiritual connection. You
mhm.
just know when you just know, like you know, like you know. Like when I can feel it. Even through social media, I can feel if someone's intentions are good, if someone is the right kind of spiritual squad for me. I like to call it my spirit gang. Like, because yeah, because growing up, I was in the closet and I still don't have the best relationship with my family, but it's okay because I have acquired family through this adventure that I'm having. So my closest friends are my family. When I Zoomed on Christmas and New Year's, I Zoomed my friends and then called my grandma really quick. But I Zoomed my friends because they are family. You get to choose who your family is. It's not blood sometimes, you know?
Right on, baby.
So yeah,
Right
yeah.
on.
So Blair is a good human.
Oh man.
And I'm happy that we connected through her.
Thank you, Blair.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Blair.
Oh man. Speaking of which, you touched upon something that is very near and dear to you that's led to you actually being a business owner. How did you get into graphic design, my dear?
Well, I'm not a graphic designer.
Oh,
You said that earlier, and I don't you yeah I'm a self-taught painter. I paint canvases. I hand paint denim jackets. I hand paint leather jackets. Uh, I tie-dye clothing, but everything's hand painted. And I even did a children's book recently
ooh.
that I watercolored, which was like three. That's when you need a graphic designer because that took me 3 months, and I was like, oh god, that is hard. But everything I do is by hand. I'm old school. I don't, I know my brother and our son. They do a lot of the graphic design stuff on the computer, and I tend to just do old school paintings. Like I do canvases. I just did a canvas of a woman who wanted her dog Dexter passed away, and she has two
Oh,
other dogs, and she wanted a picture of all three of them together in their favorite park. So I painted Dexter with wings and put the two little other puppies in front in their favorite park, and I sent it out to her. And I paint everything. Like I'll just say it. I'm that talented. I can do anything. But
Oh, yes,
I
you
don't
can.
I
I've
don't
seen
do
you.
graphic design. I don't do graphic design. My company's name is Rebirth with an E, so REBIRTHE. And you can look at it, rebirth.com, or on my Instagram has all of my work. And it's mostly hand painted denim jackets, hand painted leather, mostly polyurethane because I love animals and I don't want to kill them.
I
And
hear you.
yeah, and t-shirts, sweatshirts, all that stuff. And then we created a blog called Dapper Life, Val and I did, and it's about food, fashion, spirituality, travel, a bunch of other things. And through that, we created our line, the Dapper Shop, which is tie-dyed sweatpants, tie-dyed hoodies, and sweatshirts and t-shirts that we do by hand. And I hand paint Dapper on it and stuff like that. And we're going to be going forward and doing like a Rebirth and Dapper collaboration in a few days that I'm launching. Yeah. So yeah, everything's by hand. Everything is, I even like will distress sweatshirts and jackets, and I'll just cut it with like X-Acto knives and sand it down. I'm old school. Yeah.
I hear you.
I like using my hands. Yeah.
Oh man, you were kind of dating yourself earlier, and I might not be quite so younger than you. I definitely may have been born in the same time frame or a little bit after. So I can definitely imagine being in that same style of era because I was around then. So
yep, we needed to use our imagination.
Yeah, I know about that oh too well. I was way before this current era, way before. So
yeah. And
yeah, it's
I
a
think
good
one
thing that the
thing,
universe put us together for today.
yes, I'm totally like Gen X or whatever they call it. Like I can use an iPhone, I can use Zoom, I can use a computer, but also one thing I never wanted to do was lose my imagination. So I tend to sketch out whenever, you know, like if I'm having like an off day. It's a form of meditation for me. Like when Val, lately he's been cooking a lot, and that's like a form of meditation for him. Like we meditate every morning, but sometimes when I'm just in a funk, I'll just get out some paper and I'll just start drawing and painting. And it really like 2 hours of just serene listening to music. And that's my way to unwind and just feel better about the circumstances I'm going through. So like, I think everyone should use their imagination and find, I guess, a hobby or something that brings you joy, because, you know, a bath or meditating doesn't work every single time. You need to find that thing that brings you joy, that will ground you and make you, you know, feel better about the situations you're going through, especially with this last year we had. I painted a lot.
Jesus Christ, tell me about it. Oh man, this year,
right?
This year has been crazy on my end. I had so much planned, and then all of a sudden, I wound up becoming a pseudo you in the sense that my employer let me go.
Oh,
I
I'm
said,
so sorry about that.
thanks for your condolence. They had to cut me because of financial means. And I had a funny feeling that exact day. I said, something's going to happen. I cannot put my finger on it. And I told my partner at the time, I said, pray for me right now. Because I'm thinking they may let me go. And then lo and behold, after 30 minutes of talking, they let me go. And
well, you know, you have to, I think, like I said earlier, look at it with a different perspective. Change your mindset about it, because I think that you will remember that feeling, and it takes a long time to heal from that. But what you will also remember till probably years and years to come is September 25th, when you said yes, when you became an author, when your book becomes #1 on Amazon bestseller. You will remember that date too. That wouldn't have happened if you were still with your employer. So everything happens for a reason. You need to let that go and know that bigger and better things are coming your way. And that job was just in the way.
I hear you. I hear you. And
I think your true path is this. Like, I know you have a knack for it. You want to do podcasts, you want to write, you are changing lives. You have up-leveled and grown so much, even in the 6 months that I've known you. Just imagine what's going to happen next year. 2021, or this year, 2021 is going to be your year. And I think that everything, like, you just need to forgive and heal. And I know I still have those bad feelings. Like, I'll have nightmares about in 2012 when I got fired. it still comes and haunts me. That was 8 years ago, 9 years ago now. I keep on forgetting we're in 2021. Thank goodness. But you just have to like move forward, change your mindset within 17 seconds, realize what you're grateful for right now, and really like write down, journal, and show all your growth. And then you can reapproach that later and be like, dang, it sucked at that moment, but right now it's like this. But it won't be forever, and I'm going to get bigger and stronger, and I'm going to be more successful. You know?
I hear you, and I actually write every single day that I'm happy and grateful that this has occurred, that's occurred. And that's been even before I even got let go. Let me tell you that right now. So after that, it's like almost any and everything came alive. Truly. I wound up having almost 2 jobs in less than 2 months. My current one is almost like three months now, and I'm almost the leader of a morning shift on weekends. Uh-oh. Hold on a second, kids. Brief break.